What a time to be alive. Hello. How's everybody doing on this beautiful day? Sun's a little bright, still a little early. It's cold out today. A little brisk walk. What a time to be alive. There's so many incredible things taking place right here, right now on planet Earth. Join me as we discuss, shall we? Interesting times that we're living in. Trying to post on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all these different social media platforms and use text and words to try and communicate a message leaves a whole lot of emotion and authenticity out of it. And depending upon the reader, well, the reader might convey the message completely wrong. So it's time we take a couple minutes each day and share some of our thoughts of how we've come to conclusions. The jump to conclusions, Matt. Come on, doggy. Even though things seem like they're going crazy, we got the world in lockstep march order with this invisible enemy. We've got slight disclosure of possession of UFO technology. We've got the ex-head of Israeli space defense coming out saying he knows about aliens and so does Donald Trump, and we're not ready to be a part of the Galactic Federation. What else? There's so many things. This is like the most epic movie plot of all time. Is it a movie? Could we all just be playing a role? Actors and actresses here, planet Earth? I've heard that before. And I would have to surmise, yes, we are all playing a role. And all of us are the hero. The main character. Center stage of our own stories. And every story is important. Every story is valid. Every story adds to the culmination of reality that we are experiencing. And our stories, they're about to change. They're about to get a whole lot more interesting. I think a lot of people are tired of getting up and going to work to a boring job that they don't like, in a car that they really don't need, traffic, moving here, there, back and forth when they really don't want to. If there's anything the virus has shown us, that the internet's amazing. And we really don't have to go anywhere to do much of anything. Now we could take that as a warning sign that this is the end of the economy and everything we know it's going to crash, and how are we going to make any money, and how are we going to pay our bills? Or you come to the realization that we've all decided to comply to a system that controls us through legislation and currency, and that these tools of fair balance and exchange, because that's what they are, tools of fair balance and exchange have been, how do they use that fancy word, misappropriated. There are people in powerful places that have been compromised through these tools. We live at a time where we have the ability to instantaneously communicate with anyone, anywhere on planet Earth. And yet, at the same time, We still have people dying of starvation. We still have people dying of obesity. We still have people dying of heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, and all these terrible diseases that honestly really shouldn't even exist. However, they do. And we've been presented with charitable organizations that are spending big bucks. I'm not going to throw a number on there because it's misskewed anyways, but billions of dollars have been misdirected or used to supposedly research and end AIDS, breast cancer, colon cancer, MS, Alzheimer's. The list goes on and on and on and on. And because humanity is humane and compassionate, we are willing to do whatever is necessary to end the pain and suffering of others. However, that's not what's been taking place. What's been taking place is deception. It is darkness. It is deceit. They put forth a really good marketing campaign or ad campaign, and they join together with other corporations, and they throw a color on it, and they throw a spokesperson on it, and they put it anywhere and everywhere, and a portion of your proceeds goes towards breast cancer. Let's just use one. That's primarily a big one, right? It was Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now it's just breast cancer everywhere, right? And so humanity, globally, right? The mass citizens, the hard workers, the blue collars, the middle classers, right? They put forth a lot of time, money, and energy because a lot of these people have been affected by breast cancer, or had a friend or a family member or a loved one affected by breast cancer. And it's tragic. It's horrible to see anyone go through any kind of cancer. And at the same time, all these billions of dollars have been raised to end, defeat, find a cure for this horrible disease. And here we are, 2021. Getting ready to go back to the moon. Hell, we're going to Mars. And yet, we still have people dying of breast cancer. We have people dying of starvation. We have people dying of tuberculosis. As a matter of fact, tuberculosis affects 2 billion people on this planet at any one time and kills hundreds of millions globally. However, we don't stop the world for that. Nope. But I'm getting sidetracked. Humanity is humane. We are compassionate beings. We don't like to see others in pain. We don't like to see others suffer. And if you say that we do, well, that's just brainwashing and manipulation through media, television, and movies to convince you that we need to go to war to defend ourselves from an evil enemy abroad. I don't know how many of you have traveled or how many of you have friends from other places. They want the same thing that we want. Peace, abundance, consistency, love. That's what humanity wants. We don't want war. We don't want division. We don't want death. We don't want politics. We don't want bureaucracy. We want truth. We want transparency. We're old enough, big enough, and smart enough that we can handle the truth now. Powers that be, they don't want you to have the truth, because once you have the truth, they no longer have the power. That's how important truth is. That's how priceless truth is. That the weak, limited few are willing to do anything and everything to keep you from finding the truth. When was the last time a that big beautiful ball of light up in the sky, sent us a bill. When was the last time Mother Nature sent a bill to your house saying, you know what, we had this many inches of rain last year, I'm gonna need you to pay up? Never. Ever. But we've been born into a system where we think we have to get up and run out the door and trade our time for money and then take that money and give it to somebody else to sustain our livelihood. And that's absolute nonsense. Some way, somehow, some guy, or a limited few, got between you, me, and the tree and said, we gotta pay for the tree. When you sit down and think about it, we've allowed all these nonsensical industries and corporations and structures to be built to separate us, divide us, and control us into racial class, social class, religious class. All these different things that only exist based on somebody's beliefs. That's all they are. If I believe that $5 is $5 and you believe that $5 is $5 and we both agree that a piece of paper is $5, well then it only works for us. If we go to another country and they've never heard of money or $5 or whatever, and we walk over to them and say, hey, I want to give you this piece of paper for your food, they just laugh in our face. Ha 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 ha, why would I give you food for a piece of paper? Here, just have some food. I have more than enough. Oh, you do? Well, thank you. Oh, but there's a lack of food on this planet. Is there? Is there? Because in 2018, 7.5 billion people on this planet, and we grew enough food for 10 billion. And yet, millions died of starvation. So, either I can't do mathematics, or somebody along the line is making more than enough corn, for example, and instead of getting the corn to where it needs to go, they get reimbursed financially through government subsidies for destroying the corn instead of feeding the poor people. And that should outrage you. That should outrage you. Well, why aren't they giving the corn to the poor? That's the right thing to do. And you're absolutely 100% correct. That is the right thing to do, but why don't they do it? Because you're not aware of it. That's what it comes down to. Awareness, right? Supply and demand. The consumers want it, the consumers get it. Well, when enough people are aware of what's actually going down and shaking out, well then in comes accountability, and it's not, oh, well, we'll just pay billions of dollars to these people and keep selling you poisonous products and burning the rest that we don't need so people starve. Because that's what happens. Oh, they're going to go to court. They're going to get dealt with. I'm going to let you know that's not how it happens. Unfortunately, that's how it should happen. That's how justice should be served. You wrong somebody, you harm somebody, you damage somebody, you need to be held accountable for that. But yet, these major, huge, archaic corporations, I don't need to name drop any of them, they've been around a long time, you should be familiar with them, invest a lot of money into government and politics and legislation to protect themselves. And it's been going on a long time. And they don't want to lose their fun time. They've got their hands in the cookie jar. And they don't want to get their hands out of the cookie jar, because if they do, then they don't get any more cookies. Alright? Let them eat cake. Got their hands in the cookie jar. What would you do if you got up and went to work every day, and you made all those cookies, and you stacked that cookie jar to the top. And every time you went to the cookie jar to grab you a cookie, there was no cookies in the cookie jar. How would that make you feel? You'd be disappointed, probably a little upset. Man, I've been working hard. I love giving cookies to everybody else. I don't mind it, but I sure would like a cookie or two to myself. But you're never getting those cookies. You're filling up the cookie jar and you're not getting those cookies. Oh, but I'm saving those cookies for retirement. You're not getting those cookies. But at the same time, the people who tell you you gotta have a cookie jar and you gotta keep it full of cookies are the ones taking all the cookies without making any of the cookies. And yet we continue to elect individuals that take out of the cookie jar, and then if you ask them, hey, are you taking stuff out of the cookie jar? They'll tell you straight to your face, I ain't taking nothing out of the cookie jar. And you're like, you take a cookie? Because I put them in there and I said you could have a cookie. And they're like, nope, I didn't take a cookie. And you know they're lying to your fucking face.